on how to, don't you just love to know a secret? Well, my guest today is going to share some secrets on how to have an encounter with God. So that sounds pretty exciting to me. Please welcome Joshua Giles.
Hello.
Hi, Joshua. Joshua, let me ask you this to start off, because some people may not know you, some people may know you. I know you have a huge emphasis on you personally and in your ministry to release a reforming fire into the world. What does that mean to you?
Well, you know, God is so particular about the hearts of people. You know, Jesus said that John the Baptist would come in the power and the spirit of Elijah to turn the hearts back to God, to prepare them for the Lord. And so when I began to see that, I was like, oh my goodness, the emphasis of God's perspective on hearts is so powerful that I think we truly miss the aspect of everything in the Word that deals with the heart. And so when I say bringing a reforming fire, I know that God is really wanting to purify the hearts in preparation for Him so that He can move through their life with power.
Oh, that sounds good. And like, about how many souls would you like to be able to win?
Oh, millions. Millions. Yeah, plural.
I love that. As you grew up and you were not living for the Lord, you had opened yourself up to a lot of things that you shouldn't have. So when you're 22 years old, trying to sleep one night, what happened?
So 22 years old, you know, a lot of the times we as just people, we do things and don't realize that we open ourselves up to demonic influence. Something as simple as music. You think you're enjoying, you're being entertained, and you don't realize that a lot of these people have sold their soul to the enemy, and that covenants are established through them in order to bring about a demonic agenda, an emphasis of rebellion. And so you're listening to music, you turn on the radio, you think it's fine, and you don't realize that rhythms of rebellion are being released into your system and opens you up to sin. It starts leading you down the broad path. And so when God one night at 22 years old opened my eyes in the spiritual realm, it was wild, because the spirit realm, there's such a thin layer between the natural and the supernatural. And it's like looking at a pair of blinds, and you know that there's something on the outside, but it's such a thin layer. If I open the blinds now, I can see clearly. So literally God just went like this and opened the blinds. And I began to physically see demonic figures, witches, just crazy things that God told me I had allowed into my life. And I'm like, what do you mean allowed? Because I saw them line up. Every night they would line up in a long line at my house.
So this went on for a little while.
Oh yeah,
nights.
for sure. And I was playing college baseball at the time, and I'm like, man, this is terrifying. And I'm like, what is happening? I would sleep with the light on. I wouldn't want to go to the bathroom at night. I mean, it was crazy. Every time I'd close my eyes, you know, I would feel something hit me, or a flash, or just terrifying experiences, night terrors. And it got so crazy that I just began to say, man, I can't deal with this. This is real. So God, you're real. And then I began to pray, God, kill me or deliver me. And from that moment on, things began to change.
Wow. Well, I know the very next day you said that you played baseball. Now, you were actually on a college scholarship, right, for baseball. And now, how important was baseball to you at this point?
Baseball was my life. I ate, breathed, lived baseball since I was a child. I was watching it with my dad. I'm like, I'm going to play professional. There's no other option. That's it. You know, I hated school, and I even went to school only to take minimal courses in order to play baseball. So that's all I really cared about was, I'm getting drafted, I'm going to play, that's it.
Okay, so you had this experience this night when you said, God, I cannot take this anymore. I'm on my face, either kill me or deliver me. And that made a huge difference in your life. But the very next day, you had a baseball game.
Yes. Yeah, so it's amazing that a prayer like that in a moment that seems so simple, kill me or deliver me, God hears, and He can change your whole life situation when you're truly crying out from your heart from a place of, I really need you.
Yes.
You know, I really need you, God. Can you move in this for me? And so I felt peace in that moment, which was very unusual, and I slept good that night. And I had no clue that, you know, God is going to do what He did. But I went to the baseball field, and we're playing a team I've never played before in our life, and I'm in the outfield, and it's pregame ritual, so to speak. Everybody's batting and then getting ready for the game, and a kid from the other team walked over to me, and he looked at me and said, "Hey," I said, "Hey." He said, "Devil tried to kill you 5 years ago in a car wreck. You're being attacked at night by demons. God wants to deliver you." And I'm like, what in the world? Because I hit a guy head on at 80 miles an hour when I was going to high school baseball, lived. I walked out of the hospital that night. He was able to dissect it. And I've never heard of the prophetic, didn't know anything like that. And he laid hands on me on the baseball field. He was not afraid. And I felt the power of God hit me. And I felt like free, like something had changed. Like this was like the awakening within me to my calling. And so I go inside the dugout, and I'm just rocking back and forth like, God's called me. And my teammates are looking at me like, what is going on with you, And I could care less about the game, anything like that. I knew that God had now positioned me for what I was designed for.
Wow. Wow. And you didn't have a grid for that kind of thing, so you knew that had to be the Lord, right?
Oh, gosh, absolutely.
And that led you